Hey guys, Austin here again, doing another attempted playthrough of an NES game. This is going to be Ninja Gaiden for the NES, one I have played many, many times. I actually have the real cartridge right here, which I think I'm going to be trying to do for the majority of these videos. Now, I don't have the cartridges for everything I play. I have flash carts, I have FPGA devices, hardware emulation, software emulation, things like that. But NES, I actually have a lot of cartridges. You can actually see this wall back there is mostly NES games from top to bottom. I think the bottom shelf doesn't have any. So when we do these videos, if they're games that I own, I'll try to do the actual cartridges, even if I'm using FPGA hardware. Like right now, as you can see, I have the retro USB AVS console up. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and try to play through some Ninja Gaiden, or Ninja Gaiden, as we used to call it back in the day, because we didn't know any better. But it is actually pronounced Gaiden. It's a Japanese word, and yeah, I think it stands for side story. I don't really understand how that ties into this, because it was the first game in the franchise, so whatever, who cares. I'm going to actually reset my capture card here, because sometimes if I don't, we'll get glitchy audio. But yeah, I'm going to actually have to come up with another backdrop for that, so it's not doing that blue thing. So yeah, pop the cartridge in. We're going to go ahead and hit A to start it up. And I don't even know if I have game audio on my end. But yeah, this game is just... it's one of my all-time favorites, and one of the things about this series is I wanted to see how rusty I am with these games and how well I can try to go through them after taking a break. Ninja Gaiden, I've never really taken a break. It's a game I still play through regularly. I played through it at a friend's arcade about 3 weeks ago, and I had no issues going through it, so we'll probably have no issues going through it now. One thing I think I will do, though, is go ahead and let all the story sequences play out. When I've covered this at my other channel, Gameplay and Talk, I don't play out the story bits because I want the video to be shorter. But I think for this video, I'll go ahead and just let them play out. And yeah, so this is the introduction story. This is like one of the earliest like 8-bit titles to do something like this. And Ninja Gaiden 1 was a very big deal when it came out. It just kind of pushed the medium forward with regards to storytelling. You go back and you read the story now, it's not the most complicated thing. Actually, it is. I actually have always really enjoyed this story. I feel it's fairly mature. It doesn't get too, like, I don't know, anime-ish in terms of, like, just like the cheese factor and whatever. All the art style with this feels like, it just feels like a little gritty, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't know. I feel like the story in this game actually holds up pretty well, even as simplistic as it is, and it's something I've always enjoyed about the game. So let's go ahead and just hit that start button, jump right into it. So Act 1. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden. So one of the great things about this game is its responsiveness and, just how fast your attacks come out, and also the size of your attacks' hitboxes. Your hitboxes are pretty big in this game, in a good way. So you can, like, run and slash through enemies while you jump, and, you can just mow enemies down pretty easily, in this. Now, if you're trying to play this kind of normally, like, you can just kind of sit and swipe, and that's how most people are going to play this game when they start. And then they'll jump onto a wall like this and have no idea what to do. You have to actually hold down the jump button and then press in a different direction. And if you don't hold that direction, you'll just stop in midair, kind of like that. So you kind of slowly learn to climb up walls left to right. And you have all sorts of different abilities and things like that. So we just got a orange throwing star, and kind of like Castlevania, you press up and attack to use those. And you do have ammunition. Next to that star up in the top center, there's the 40 next to it with the little pink emblem. That's called Ninpo. And this weapon in particular just uses 5 ammunition. Oh yeah, fun little trick here with this guy is you can just kind of you don't actually take damage from his knife, which is crazy. We always avoided him back in the day. There is actually a weapon on this first level called the spin slash, or I think the manual says like jump and spin slash or something like that, or jump and spin sword attack. I don't remember, but you can kill most bosses in one hit with this game. So yeah, we get to the end of that level. We defeat the boss on the bar, and this weird agent out of nowhere comes and shoots you. It's not an actual gunshot. She like tranquilizes him and puts him in a prison or in a jail cell. There's a lot of weird things that happen in this game. It all makes sense at the end, but there's a lot of exposition. So your character says, "Oh, where am I?" And I see the anesthetic is wearing off. So okay, he didn't, get shot for real. It's just a tranquilizer. Don't make so much noise. I've got a favor to ask of you. And here, take this. Escape. What is this? The statue. So that's a demon statue. There's no time to explain. Hurry. So you're given this statue. It comes into play in a couple of levels. Didn't you try to kill me? It's actually been a little while since I've actually gone all the way through this story. Someone's coming, be careful. So super vague, super short, and then you're thrown right into the next level. It doesn't seem like much these days, but there is like a progression to the story, and it, the whole thing unfolds as you play through the game. Yeah, I still love it. It's really cool. I love the visual style in this game too. I mean, it's just like I said, it's a very gritty. Yeah, kind of raw, very detailed. The visuals are quite detailed in this game, which is nice. This was 1989. So, one of the things about this game too is like it's got a pretty decent speedrun community. I actually did learn how to run this game. Mostly, I'd say I got about 85% of the way there. I didn't learn the final level the way I wanted to, but I do know some speed strats on this. A lot of them involve using the spin slash. We got the throwing star again. So like this part right here, I'll just do a simple little speedrun strat to just kind of show how you can kind of flow through this game. So you could just kind of use that and then jump and jump again, slash, jump, slash, and then, that's just that one section. That wasn't super efficient by modern speedrun standards, but you kind of get the idea. But one thing I wanted to try to do on this run in particular was just kind of play it more normally, more slow, so to speak. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of like the speedrun stuff. Like you can, oops, I messed that up actually. You can actually do a damage boost off that bat and it'll boost you up top, save you a couple seconds. But yeah, most people that play this game will play it really slow and they'll just get like bounced around like a pinball. And, but the beautiful thing about this game is just the flow, the way the levels are laid out and how you can just zip through the entire game. So again, we've got the jump and spin slash. It uses 5 Nimpo every time you use it, but we'll show it off here. And you can kill bosses in one hit, basically, if you do it just right. If you don't do it just right, sometimes they'll have a couple blocks of health left over, or just one. But yeah. Alright, we'll go ahead and let this story play out. What is this bizarre statue anyway, and who was that woman? Come here, Patchouli. As I grew more and more suspicious, I went off to look for that supposed acquaintance of my father's, Mr. Smith. So, in the introduction of the game, before you even start the game, your father dies in a duel, supposedly, and he tells you to go to America to meet Walter Smith. So now we're at that part in the story. And he recognizes the sword. Sorry, my cat's underneath me right now. She's begging for attention. I worked all day today, and this is the first thing I'm doing after taking a shower and getting home from work. So my cat hasn't seen me all day, so she's vying for my attention. Yeah, so they went on an expedition to old ruins. They found a strange statue and a stone tablet. And the tablet says, oh. I like that there's a little bit of interjection. It's not just like full exposition. There is a little back and forth. A demon statue possesses enough evil power to destroy an entire nation. Yeah, so supposedly a long time ago, the demon came to this earth, but then shinobi appeared to stop the demon. Now, I don't know what shinobi has in any, like, ancient ninja lore, but at the time, you know, it confused a lot of us growing up, because there was a shinobi video game by Sega. I was like, is this related to Shinobi, the game? Yeah, so Shinobi sort of defeated the demon, confined it within these two statues. So there's one more statue. And a twist! Someone busts in and just like steals it right from underneath them. And now this kicks you right into the next level, and you're chasing after that guy. It's actually really hard for me to not try to, like, do some speedrun strategies on these levels. I'll try to take it a little bit slower, but there is a trick here. You can throw a throwing star up there like that to grab this fire wheel attack, which actually helps you mow down the boss fight a little bit easier. If you have to time it right. Actually, one thing I like about... trying to fight bosses with like your regular weapons is like it does take a little more skill versus the the jump and spin slash. The spin slash actually is not available on every single stage in the game, and so yeah, some levels like this you have to actually try to get through them with just more of a regular weapon. So normally this fire wheel is actually available on this bottom pathway. And it would be right here. And I already have it. So Ninja Gaiden, if you've never played it before, it can be a very stiff game. You know, I kind of sing its praises about it being super flowy and stuff like that, but it can also be very, very stiff if you don't know what you're doing. Let's actually mix things up a little bit. So normally I try to avoid this power-up, the gold throwing star. But just to mix things up, I'll use a different sub-weapon than I'm used to. So this boss just bounces back and forth, and then it throws these, like, 3 bullets. You can actually duck and attack those. Or use your throwing star. Kind of like that. Boom. Yeah, a lot of bosses in this game, very simplistic. They're not really all that challenging, if you ask me. But I think they're good, kind of like capstones for each level. Like, a boss doesn't have to be super complicated, especially when you've already gone through a lot of challenging moments. Like, I think they get the job done in this. After getting back the statue, I felt a strange premonition. He heads back to see Walter, and he's dead. Or he's dying, actually. This was actually, like... This scene in particular really struck a chord with me growing up, because I don't think I had ever seen a character really, like, die in a video game. Not in, like, a realistic manner. Like, you can see his face is, like, you know, the energy of his life is, like, drained out of him. These are his last words. And it gives you more information about, you know, the demon and the statues and stuff like that. I wish I could show you Patchouli right now, but she does not like being picked up, so... Nope, sorry, baby. I don't want her jumping up either, because this mic... the mic's actually... What I like about this new setup is that the mic is out of the camera view, so, like, you can't actually see it like you normally do in my videos. What a twist! So some CIA agents pick you up, so now the American government's involved. All this stuff is like, this is just unheard of from this time period in terms of console video game storytelling. There wasn't much in terms of storytelling in video games on consoles prior to this. Computers had, you know, point-and-click adventures and stuff already by that point. You know, the microcomputers, like, you know, the Commodore 64, things like that, probably had some more evolved story-based experiences. But on console, like, this never really existed. That's why this game was a big deal. They're giving you information about what just happened, and it's more information about you know, the demon statues and stuff like that. So there's ruins, and there's another character that they basically tell you about called Jakio. Don't know how to pronounce his name, never have. So Dr. Smith, who just died, studied these ruins. It's very cool. He suddenly sealed off the ruins, and ever since then, no one has gone close. Until now. Later, however, a man moved in and took over the ruins. His name is Guardia de Mew. Sure, if I pronounce that right. He calls himself the Jakio. I don't know if that's like the Jaguar or something like that. I have no idea. According to our records, it seems that the temple is not where gods are worshipped, but was built to imprison the body of the demon. And that's why they closed it up. I like the projector kind of display. I think they do this sort of thing a little bit in, I think maybe even Ninja Gaiden 3, where it actually has like a blinking sort of thing. But, you know, for 1989, this is still very effective, you know. He was probably killed by someone working for the new big bad guy. When a black moon shines, light and dark break apart. The King of Darkness howls. These were the last words written on the stone tablet. If someone brings the demon back to life, he will gain incredible power. Enough to control the entire world. Of course the CIA wants a piece of that. Oh yeah. The woman who shot you in the bar was one of our agents. And your future wife. Spoilers. They are after you. Yeah, so now they want you going to South America, and that's where basically the last third of the game takes place. Culminating with the final boss. And if I say no, he says, you already know the answer to that. Yeah. Lighting dims. It's like, yeah, we'll get rid of you if you don't do this. Sneaky CIA. Nice little visual effects here with the scrolling. Always appreciate visual effects like that on old consoles like this. So, alright, yeah. This is probably the point in the game where the difficulty really starts ramping up for a lot of people. There's tons of endless pits. Some tricky enemy placement. So I'm going to grab this. This is the fire shield. And we can just drop down and jump. And, oh, I missed that. I just barely missed it. Yeah, so as you can see, checkpoint's kind of far away, so I have to do all that over again. Now, for me, that's not really a big deal. But if you're a new player to this game, it could be a little frustrating, because maybe it took you a little while just to learn this section. And, let's see if we can do a little boost here. Oh, got it. That's one of the speed strats. But yeah. Yeah, you wanna typically in a lot of these cases jump really late on the platform, that way you end up making the jump. The jumps aren't like pixel perfect tight for the most part, but you know, you gotta be good with your platforming. Don't be too scared to jump like right at the very edge of the platform. So there's the temple that they told us about. This was always an awesome sequence. But it's also like, well, how does he get down from there? Well, he's a ninja. He could do anything, right? Ninjas can do anything. It just looks really cool. That's really all that matters. It just looks really cool. So there's a lot of like memorization in this game too. If we're back to talking about gameplay. So like, for instance, if you're just like kind of running and gunning, this bat is always there. And, you know, if you try jumping too early, you're just going to slam into the bat, and the bat's going to put you down into that endless pit. So I'm just kind of like goofing off here. I'm not, like, for those of you guys that have seen me play this before, you know, like, this is not how I normally play the game. There's a little hourglass right there. It stops your time for a few seconds, so I'll go ahead and grab that. Allows you to go through this first half of the bridge, basically, without, you know, having to deal with anything. Otherwise, the bridge can get pretty intense. Also, there are health refills in this game. That gives you about a third of your health bar back, that potion. But yeah, this game is very memorization based. A lot like Castlevania, a lot like other difficult, quote-unquote, NES hard games. That's an extra life right there. This was always like one of my favorite points in the game, though. This is where like the music, you know, the soundtrack like kicks up. That's a very energetic tune. It was one of my favorite NES themes growing up. And now it gets like spookier and more moody. I've always loved the sort of isometric type of viewport for this game. So you notice like not everything is like perfectly flat. Everything has an angle to it. So it gives a sort of three-dimensional look, even though the gameplay is still completely 2D. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, I actually came down here to grab that potion. You'll notice that if you've never played this game before, that I've been just like bouncing off the walls pretty easily. It's a really fun feature in this game where you have to actually, like I said, hold down the button. You can go back and forth like that. But you can also, if you wiggle the D-pad just a little bit, you can just literally scale the wall vertically without going to another wall to do that. And then, little trick here, you can actually jump over. So, Ninja Gaiden 1 is actually my favorite of the bunch. There's a bunch of reasons for that. One is just, I much prefer like how the story's executed and things like that. I love like the gritty visual style. The large player hitboxes, or attack hitboxes, I should say. But I love the extra bits of mechanical prowess required to like make the most of the game, like the wall jumping. From Ninja Gaiden 2 and on, you could just like climb up walls just by holding up. And which is cool. That was a great like quality of life improvement, but you know, in hindsight, it's like it does make the game a little bit easier, and so like I feel like I'm not working as hard at that game. So I guess it's not as satisfying in some degrees. I mean, Ninja Gaiden 2 is a phenomenal game, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a beautiful looking game too. One of the absolute best looking NES games. But anyway, so the guy that's now in charge of the temple, you fought like his pets basically, and the CIA agent you met in the very beginning, you know, he's got her as a potential sacrifice, and Ryu is a good human being, you know, as they usually are in these Japanese hero stories. You know, there's like no interaction between you and her until like now, really, and even that is like, yeah, I'll talk more about that towards the end. When they tell you tonight is the night. And this dude creeped me out like crazy when I was a kid. Like that picture right there, I think gave me nightmares for a while. Good job, Tecmo. Good job. GG. Now these intermissions right here, the in-between sequences, you can actually skip through all of them, both the story and the act screen. I'm intentionally letting all this stuff roll out, but if you're trying to just like blitz through the game, you can. It's great. You know, it's like they could have easily like forced you to watch the story, and it was a fantastic design choice to allow you to skip through everything if you want to. The story, I think it's worth experiencing the story if you never have. But after you've done it once, it's like, unless you're trying to show it off to someone or just like re-experience it once or twice here and there, like it would be extraordinarily tedious to have to sit through it over and over and over again. So, when you're really good at this game, by the way, even if you're not speedrunning, you know, if you know how to just flow through each level, only stopping a little bit here and there, the game is only like 15 minutes long. Yeah, like 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your skill level and you know, your level of brevity. You know, real speedrunners will beat it in like under 12 minutes. The best of the best will do. I don't know what the world record is right now, but it's like, I don't know. Haven't checked in a while. I should double check, but it is definitely less than 12 minutes. I know that for sure. It's probably like 11. I wonder if it's like 10 and a half now or 10:45. I have no idea. I don't really keep track of that stuff too often anymore. So this is actually something I did want to talk about, though. So this was like one of the most difficult parts for us growing up, is you have to get to that lower platform on the bottom right, and you have to literally like fall and grab low and then clip your way over like that. However, interestingly, you can actually come up here and do it like that too. That's the speedrun strat. Well, an old speedrun strat. I think the run's gotten so optimized now you do some crazy damage boost over it, but anyway. Yeah, having to try to like fall down and grab onto the wall, it murdered us as kids. Most of us were not able to beat this game growing up. We would get to like this level, or we would get to the next level, which is the final stage of the game. And then we would proceed to get annihilated. So, yeah, good times. The last level in particular has a, I don't know if it's actually a glitch. I think it's actually a glitch, but the devs just like left it in, where if you die at the final boss, you get sent all the way to the very beginning of the level. And that's not just getting a game over at the final boss, another extra life. That is just dying at the final boss. Most bosses, I think if you die at them, I think you might go back to the last checkpoint. I think that's how it works. Not the very beginning of the level. Because every level does have checkpoints. So like this right here, I believe is a checkpoint. If I die like this, I think it'll start me right there on that ladder. Yeah. So that was for science. I mean, more, not really science so much as just proving a point. Alright, so this upcoming boss is... the bosses in this game are so simple, but like they're really clever at the same time. It's like this boss, you have to trade hits with him. And this is one of the first games I think I ever played where like you were forced to do something like this. Oh, he's mocking you. Your father was a much better swordsman. Of course, anything regarding his father piques his interest, because at this point he thinks his father's dead. Yeah, so you just run up to this guy and just swipe him over and over, and you will take a hit. And another hit. And another hit. And that's it. And you can try to get fancy, just bounce around, because you just want to, you know, soak up that moonlight. Don't fall down that pit, though, because you will die, even after you've defeated the boss. So this game will let you do that. I love that, actually. I like it when a game just like, yeah, you beat the boss, but things are ticking down, you can still die if you're not careful. So apparently your dad is still alive. Alright, final stage, Act 6. This is where the game just goes all out in terms of difficulty. So I'm just gonna kind of try to flow through here. Oops, I messed that up big time. And I messed it up again. Oh, jeez. Even though I beat this game just recently, maybe I am a little rusty. Or maybe I haven't warmed up with any video games today. Despite me working in a video game store again. It's funny how that works out. Although if you're not playing video games, like, you know, whether you work in a store or not, isn't going to make a damn difference. So one thing I didn't explain, with this jump and spin slash, you actually just press attack in the air and it'll just come out automatically. However, it'll just make you spin automatically and you'll use ammunition every time. So sometimes you want to conserve that ammunition. And by doing that, you can actually press down and attack in the air, so you don't use your spin slash ammo. So it is a little awkward having to hold down and attack in the air, but it is a nice little trick. All right, couple more swipes. I don't know why I said that. I am starting to blank out already. Jeez, it's been a really long day at work. I'm kind of fried right now, actually. This is what it's like to work 8 hours and then come home and try to play some difficult video games. Ooh, that was an interesting glitch. This part right here is actually one of the most challenging parts for people, because this guy blocks your way, and if you don't have the spin slash, it's very difficult to deal with that without dying. But you can actually sit here and just kind of clip him off the screen, assuming you don't have the spin slash. I have the spin slash, but now he's gone. The other enemies aren't gone, though. So, but yeah, that part was one of the most difficult sections of this whole game for us growing up. And, I want to try this. I don't know if this is the potion. It is the potion. Okay. And I lost my spin slash, but there will be another one. And actually, you know what? I think I'm not going to care about the spin slash. I think I'm going to try to beat these last few bosses without it. Although we'll just have to deal with the first form. I'll use the spin slash up to that point. Something smells. I think I smell pizza. Oh, pizza sounds so good right now. Especially after a long day's worth of work. Oh yeah, that smells really good. Damn it. Oh, I'm getting distracted by food. Oh man. Alright, so there should be a gold throwing star right here. We can just do that. And another hourglass. And I think there's going to be a fire wheel here. I picked it up already. Got it. So these, I didn't mention, the little blue boxes we've been picking up, that's 5 ammunition, and the orange boxes we pick up are 10. So I haven't been explaining much of this game. I'm just kind of like going through it and just talking about stuff. Another hourglass. We really want to try to blitz through this section because those little guys that fall through are pretty crazy, and they can be very frustrating. So anyway, I was playing really sloppy there. There's actually ways to go through that without, you could just like have enemies damage boost you into the boss door. You can actually take a lot of damage there and not worry about it, because you actually, at the start of the final boss, you get all of your health back. Even your father? So apparently this dude is your father. Ryu, I am your father. Now that is a little bit of over-explaining right there, I think. I do think this part of the story could have been done better. I think being a little vague and then revealing things after something's happened, I think has a better impact. And the game does that earlier in the story. It does that pretty well. But this part is just like, alright, well, now we know that you're fighting your dad. And then it gives you the key on how to beat the boss. So let's just try this normally, where I'm not doing special slashes. So there's a way to attack multiple times in air. And it makes bosses like this much easier. Now I do also have some Nimpo, so I can use my fire wheel. There we go, got it. But yeah, if you press down and attack in the air, and if you do it just right, you can attack really quickly. And I've actually, this is one of those things I get progressively worse and worse at as time goes on. Very important for speedrunning, but also just a fun thing to do if you're trying to do some extra damage on boss fights that are up in the air. I do wish they used different art for the Jackie-O there, because it's the same art from like the prior level. And it's like, wait, have we changed locations? You look so buff compared to your dad. And later, in the next two Ninja Gaidens, Ryu looks much more kiddie. It looks much more like clean anime-like. And in this one, he's just like this buff ninja warrior. So yeah, this is probably the most notorious boss fight in almost all of NES gaming. When you talk about like difficult boss fights that people remember in an infamous kind of manner, it's this one right here. But really all you have to do is just kind of like sit on the bottom of the screen and just dodge the fireballs and just be really patient. The fireballs will go off the screen if you just let them, like, if you're down on the bottom, they have like a really sharp arc and they'll fly off the screen. Otherwise, they would normally like come back up and just chase you. That's where it gets really difficult, because you'll have like 4 to 6 plus fireballs coming after you, and it's just, it feels impossible. But if you just play it patient, try to dodge them, watch how they curve in and out. You can just let them go past you and go off the screen. So, you killed the main bad guy, but then the whole Eclipse thing actually ends up happening at the very end. So now you have to fight the demons that have been talked about this whole time. So, the boss is pretty basic, but it can be challenging if you don't know what to do. And here's the Eclipse happening. It's like, geez, it's always something. Quick, throw him off the ledge! The statues, not the people. Alright. Final boss time. So we have to bash this guy's head. And I will try the air slash like that, so I was able to get him, knock his head off faster. So these little, they call them shrimp, I think, in the speedrun world. These little shrimp-looking fireballs, they are completely random. And it's one of the things that I actually really like about this game is there are a few random elements in the game that forces you to think on your feet. You know, play on your toes, basically. Ninja Gaiden 2 actually kind of revives this guy, that brings him back at the end with a couple of twists. But on the shrimp portion, I think it's either only on the left or only on the right. And so it's easier to follow and easier to dodge. But this one actually requires you to use a little bit of skill. Your dad admits he's dying already. And he's just gonna stay behind. All that work and you still don't get to save your dad. It doesn't count though, because like you thought he was dead the whole time anyway. Anyway, this right here, much like the Mega Man games did, or even Castlevania, where it's like Castlevania, you're at the end of the game and you see the castle self-destruct and fall apart. They reuse that in many Castlevania titles, and this they reuse the same theme in I think all 3 Ninja Gaidens. Wait, does Ninja Gaiden 3 have a scene like that? It might. Ninja Gaiden 2 definitely does. Jeez, my memory sucks. We'll get to Ninja Gaiden 3. We're 100% gonna do that in this series. I can't remember how that one ends. I remember you're on like a big ass, like mechanized airship. No, I don't remember at this point. Oh, Ninja Gaiden 3 might be like... No. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Another plot twist! So the CIA guy, Foster, tells her to kill him. And this is where it turns into, like, kind of a cheesy, goofy, like, love story. The first payment I've already received. I actually never hated this, where, like, basically, he's like, all right, you're my babe now. It's like, it is romantic. It's like, oh, that's cute. But then when you think about it, which when you're a kid, you're like, whatever. You don't know any better. But as an adult, you're like, they only met like 3 times for like 5 seconds each time. Now, granted, he did save her life. And, I don't know. So, but in the next 2 games, I mean, they're basically a couple in part 2, and then in part 3, they might even be, like, married or something, I don't know. And the setup is that there's, like, a clone Ryu in part 3, and he kills her. Well, it turns out she's not actually dead, and it wasn't actually him that did it, because it was a clone. Anyway, spoilers! I mean, I'm sure most of you people have already know all that stuff already. If not, you'll see it eventually here, because I will play through those games again, both parts 2 and 3. For those games, I'll definitely let the stories play out as well, just like I did here. So, but man, Ninja Gaiden, it's a classic, man. It's one of my all-time favorite games, easily top 5 favorite NES games, hands down. I think in a lot of ways it holds up great. Still provides a nice challenge, even for, experienced old people like myself. And, yeah, just love always being able to show off this game. It's good stuff. When I will do the other 2 parts, I'm not sure. Ooh, a little bit of a graphical glitch right there. Good old NES. Not always, like, the most solid. And that kind of gives it a little bit of its charm. It's like, a lot of the graphical glitches and stuff like that. I don't think that glitch was always there. I wonder if it's just... Yeah, I have no idea. So, we got an actual, like, sort of credits roll here. Not like a Mega Man 2 style one, but it does give, I think, basically all the credits. And this is the Stage 4 music as well. The Stage 4-1 music. But it actually ends. Which is kind of neat. Nice little touch. And then that's it. That is the end. So, yeah, that's Ninja Gaiden for NES, guys. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I'll be back with some more playthroughs like this very soon. If you like this sort of thing and you're new here, please subscribe. I have, well, not a lot of videos like this yet. This is my second one in this series, but I'm going to be making more of these. So if you like this, subscribe so you can keep up with, these playthroughs or attempted playthroughs. I knew I was going to finish this game. It's Ninja Gaiden. It's whatever. I'm very familiar with it. But a lot of these games in the series, actually, the earlier games in the series, I'm very familiar with. So there's a very, very, very high likelihood just about every game we play for the foreseeable future, I will finish in the video recording session. So But we will eventually, if I stick with it, get to games that I am not that good at, and that should be more interesting. But either way, hope you enjoyed this, and if you liked it, again, consider subscribing. I also have my main channel called Gameplay and Talk. There's a link in the description box below. If you like this sort of thing and you don't follow that, go check that out. I already have like 1,000 videos and live streams over there of retro gaming stuff. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'll be back with another one of these really soon. I'm trying to record enough to where I can publish one at least once a week or something like that. And if I do a bunch of short ones, maybe do multiples in a week. Like I'm planning on playing a game here in a minute that's like 10 minutes long. So yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out. Drop some comments below if you have anything nice to say, preferably. And yeah, I will catch you guys soon. So I guess, yeah, take care. I'm going to go over here and try to hit the stop recording button. This is so awkward. I actually have this template this is meant for me to not have to do any video editing or anything like that. So it's not super polished as a result. So, all right. See you guys later. Have a good one.